Alrighty, hello everybody. Sorry I didn't start talking right away. Like three things happened at once. I got three messages in three different avenues all at once. When I stopped playing the music, I was like, whoa, whoa, ha, whoa, ha. Trying to read everything. So what's up, everyone? Welcome. How's everybody doing today? Today is Sunday. That is right, guys. Today is Sunday. The 10th of February, 2019. Thank you for joining me today for a full day of streaming. And it's going to be an interesting day to say the least because I'm trying totally new things today. A new spin on Apex Legends that I have not tried yet, as well as a brand new game in Subnautica later tonight. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But anyway, welcome. Welcome, my friends. Hopefully you're having a good weekend so far. I've been having a good weekend. Good variety of content I've been, putting out fun streams, and hope you guys have been enjoying it as well. As for the weather around here, oh man, we have been having one of the coldest and snowiest weeks in history since I've lived here. I've lived here for almost 5 years, and never have I seen it be this cold and this much snow. We had 6 to 8 inches of snow the other day, which in reality is not that much, but out here in Washington State where I live, it's an abnormality. We almost never get big snow out here. So the people out here were not equipped and ready for this. Some of the streets are still slushy and icy. Just in my own living complex here, the road is not plowed. And it's melting to some extent, but there's only so much that it's going to melt when you're in, a private community and there's only a certain amount of people driving on it. I would hope that the roads out there are okay. I wouldn't know. So basically, here's what happened. It started snowing about 2.5 days ago. And at that point, Kat had to go to work. So I actually drove her to work and picked her up from work that night. Basically in a snowstorm. It was still snowing, coming down pretty heavy during that time. Yesterday, Kat was supposed to work. But she actually got a call saying that unless she could come in like super early, there was no point because the snow was continuing. We were still snowing here in Washington, and everything in the state was closing early yesterday. Like everything, every business, every office, everything was closing because of the snow. Now this is funny because again, I said 6 to 8 inches. You might be like, 6 to 8 inches? That's pretty crazy because that's like nothing. Back where I lived in Connecticut, we would get 6 to 8 inches like 10 times a year. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But out here, people just are not equipped for it, so everything closes down. So Kat didn't have to work yesterday, so luckily I didn't have to drive her to and from work. She has to work again today, and we're like, oh, this is good. Actually, this morning, I opened up the garage. My driveway was clear because I had shoveled it 2-3 days straight, and, it had melted now. I was like, yes, this is good. The driveway's clear. Things should be smooth sailing. Oh, then we got word. It's supposed to snow again today. Like, are you kidding me? Really? So it's supposed to snow again today, starting around 4 p.m. and going through Monday. Now, the good news is, Kat does not work tomorrow. So even if it snows crazy overnight, that's not a big deal. We don't have to deal with it until, say, Tuesday. But she has to work tonight. So I get the feeling that driving her to work will not be a big deal because even if it starts snowing at 4, she works at 5 o'clock today. So even if it starts snowing at 4, big deal. In an hour, not a lot's going to come down. But what I'm worried about is having to pick her up later tonight because she works late. What if I have to pick her up and there were, heaviest snowfall and shit? So we'll see how it goes, I guess. And then, supposedly, according to the weather, it may or may not snow on and off all week long. But what I am pleased is that right now the weather is saying it's not supposed to snow midweek, which is perfect because Kat and I have a nice Valentine's Day plan together. And it would really suck if it fucking snowed and ruined all of our plans on Valentine's Day. But it's saying right now it's not supposed to. That like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're supposed to warm up a little bit and we're not supposed to get any snow. So that's good. And I certainly hope that that stays that way. Because then I'll be back that Friday with all the new releases. And we're going to talk about the gaming schedule in just a moment. Don't worry, guys. But, yeah, that would be great to actually have a nice Valentine's Day with Kat and then being able to come back strong with all the new releases on Friday. So, All right, so um, number one, Swagling says, "Why would I have to drive her to work? Doesn't she normally drive herself to work?" She does, but the one thing you don't want to do in a snowstorm, trust me, I know this from experience, is have a car parked outside. That's the worst thing you could do, especially if it's coming down heavy, because then you have to dig your car out of tons of snow. And that's what I don't want to happen. What if she drives to work and then comes out to 6-7 inches of snow on the car? She's not going to have a snow shovel to dig the car out. You see what I mean? So it just makes more sense for me to drive her and pick her up. Okay, so that's the deal with weather here. Because people ask me frequently, what's the weather like there in Washington? It's friggin' cold. It's cold and it's snowy. And it looks like it's going to snow again today, which sucks. But it is what it is, I guess, right? All right, so let's talk about the schedule. Let's talk about what you guys can expect today. Apex Legends on this first gameplay stream. And unlike the previous streams that I've done of Apex Legends, this one is going to be team-based with teams that I'm actually forming myself. I'm going to be taking a team into the game to play and see how we can do. Now, initially, we're going to have two people who many of you will be very familiar with. In fact, these are guys who I have teamed up with in cooperative games before. First of all, it's going to be Kekken, a moderator as well as a streamer himself, who's going to be teaming up with Brian, also known as Tiger Power Gaming, also known as... he has a new name now, and I apologize because I don't even know his new name on YouTube. But he's teamed up. Basically, we all teamed up to play Destiny 2 together a couple years ago. If you guys remember, Destiny 2, that was our squad for the entirety of the, story of the game. So it's going to be us teaming up, and seeing how it goes. 3-player team. Is this going to be the entirety of the stream? Not necessarily. I don't know if these guys will be able to stick around for the entirety of the stream or not. And I may have one or two people on hold who might want to play later. They're not available to play right away, but they might want to play later in the stream. Okay? So we'll see if you guys, like for example, if you're someone who's been wanting to play with me recently and kind of been waiting for me when I'm going to team up with people, later today, maybe the second half of this stream may be your opportunity. It depends on how long people can hang around and play with me, okay? So we'll see. We're going to see what happens. How is it different having a team who you can actually communicate with? Because, yes, we will be using voice chat. So how is it different having a team you communicate with and actually doing that stuff versus just doing it with randoms, right? We're going to see. Hopefully we can get a much better results today. Who will I be playing with in Apex Legends? I don't know. It seems like Bangalore is the one I do the best with, which makes no sense because I really haven't utilized much but the smoke. I like Bloodhound a lot. I like how you can see through the walls and everything and track the enemies, but I don't necessarily think it's been super effective. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll mix it up, maybe. Mix it up a little bit. So what else? Later today, my second stream, my late night stream, will be something completely different and new and hopefully fun. Especially for those who've been saying you do too much of the same stuff, do something different. Tonight I'm trying out Subnautica. Alright, and I do want to say shout out to the fan who donated the game to me. I'm not going to give their name or nothing because they didn't ask for that, and I don't want them to get any exposure they weren't expecting. But someone donated Subnautica to me, saying that basically this game is an ultimately fun, chill stream type of game, and that people should really enjoy me playing it, and I should enjoy playing it. I don't know anything about it, so this will certainly be interesting later tonight when I finally go ahead and try out this game. It came out apparently last year on PC, and it just released on console about a month ago. So, should be pretty good. And yes, people are asking, am I going to accept advice on the game, etc.? Yes. I don't know anything about it. What I'm hoping is the Subnautica streams can become interactive, much like my Minecraft streams are. Obviously, let me give it a shot first, but any advice and things that people can give and talk with me and hang out with me during the streams, right? Should be pretty neat. So that's later tonight. That's my late stream tonight, okay? Tomorrow, I'm returning to Dark Souls Remastered, and I'm actually excited for this. The truth of the matter is, after I returned to it yesterday, I actually had a lot of fun. Like, Four Kings, being able to beat Four Kings early, when initially that was one of the hardest bosses in the game for a lot of people. I was able to beat it so early in the game. It was pretty cool. And then going to Anne Orlando, the Painted World, and getting through Anne Orlando now. It was a lot of fun. I actually cannot wait to go back and play Dark Souls again tomorrow and see how far we get. Because remember, I'm going to probably finish up Anne Orlando, right? Then that unlocks 3 areas. It unlocks the Demon Ruins, past the initial area, opens up that gate. It also opens up the Duke's Archives, right? And it opens up, what is the third area it opens up? I swear it opens up 3 areas. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, I remember. In the catacombs, it opens up the door at the bottom of the catacombs, because you can't go into that door until you beat Anne Orlando. Then the door opens up there, and then you can go down there into the catacombs further. So, yeah, so 3 other areas are going to open up, and I'll have to decide which area I want to go to, right? That should be a lot of fun. So, I'm looking forward to that, especially again with especially with the magic build that I have. How different the game has been with the magic build. I mean, I put away my melee weapon and said, fuck it. I'm just using magic. I'm just going at it with magic at this point. I don't even care about, using melee at all. Which is kind of cool, because originally I thought it would be a hybrid, but no. Like, I just said, fuck the Falcon, Magic Falcon or whatever. I'm just using spells and getting through and progressing. So that's cool. It's funny because earlier on, in my other runs of Dark Souls, I've never, ever done a full-on magic run. And sometimes I would say while playing Dark Souls, gee, I wonder why the game, what the flip? Clicking the wrong thing. I wonder why the game has so many bonfires in certain areas. Like, sometimes you'll have a bonfire, then again, like 5 minutes later, there's another bonfire. Then you open a shortcut to a bonfire. And you wonder why. And the answer is because of magic builds. Because remember, magic builds are based solely off of magic usage. So if you're not able to recharge your spells, especially if you get to a tough part with a bunch of tough enemies, you're losing all your magic. So if you didn't have the ability to recharge your spells, you'd be completely useless and fucked and not be able to get through an area. So I get the feeling that's why they've paced it to the point where, oh, here's another shortcut, here's another shortcut. So you can always have a way to get back to a bonfire and recharge your magic. And quite frankly, I do have to say, it's worked out pretty well. I've loved the run. I really have liked the magic. At first, the magic run was pretty difficult, and I was very, very annoyed that early game, it seemed like I was underpowered. Now that I'm using things like homing soul mass and shit like that, I'm starting to really, dominate, and it's pretty good. So I'm looking forward to more of that tomorrow, okay? Now, I will not be playing a second stream tomorrow night, Monday night, for various reasons, basically personal stuff I got to do around the house with Kat and some other stuff off stream to do. So no second stream on Monday night. But I'll be back on Tuesday with full day of streaming, and it will either be more Dark Souls or more Apex Legends. I think I'm going to do it directly based off of your feedback. After today, playing in a squad with people who I'm communicating with, I'll see your feedback and see what you guys think. If you want more Apex on Tuesday, I'll do it. If not, then I'll just do another session of Dark Souls, all right? And the same thing with Tuesday night. It could either be a session of Black Ops 4 Blackout gameplay, or it could be more Subnautica. And I think I'm going to base that directly off of your feedback out of how tonight goes with Subnautica. If you guys like it and you want to see it again right away, then I'll probably do it Tuesday night. But if not, then maybe I'll just do some Blackout, all right? All right, and for those who are complaining about post-nasal drip, perhaps you should suffer it, because they're like, why is he snorting? Because I have post-nasal drip, and if I don't, I'm going to choke. It's the only way to clear out my sinuses. If you have an issue with it, you should probably talk to God and ask why he gave me post-nasal drip, because I didn't ask for it. I woke up this morning incredibly stuffed, congested in the head. I spent the greater part of the last hour and a half trying to clear out my sinuses. It's life. So either you deal with it or shut the fuck up. Because I've been doing this for over 10 years and had this issue the entire fucking time. And if you have a problem with it, you probably maybe should have realized I had it sometime in the last decade. Alrighty then. Okay. Moving on. On Wednesday this week, guys, it's the big retrospective event okay, a big retrospective event. And the retrospective event is going to be me going back and watching stuff from my 10-year history as a content creator and reacting to it, giving behind-the-scenes commentary, insider info, and just in general, just telling you what I think about it. In particular, one of the things we're going to be doing that I think is going to be extra special, we're going to go back to my original vlogging channel, The King of Hate HD, which I haven't looked at in years. This contains all of my vlogging content from 2009. Actually, it's back from 2008, now that I'm thinking about it, through 2012, including things like conventions, trips, and gaming trips that I went on. My original series of DSP Tries It, which, started off on that channel, the original episodes of that. Smart Guys, my wrestling commentary show. I mean, there's so much stuff on that channel. That is how I got my start on YouTube. And I haven't looked at it in years. So it's going to be super fun to go back and watch that stuff together. And go from there and, see how things go. So that's going to be a fun stream. I hope you'll join me. That's going to be all day Wednesday. All right? All day we'll be doing that fun stuff. Then on Thursday, I'm taking time off to be with Kat for Valentine's Day. And then on Friday is the big new release day. I'll be starting off with Metro Exodus and Jump Force. All right? So those are the two big new releases I'll be starting on Friday. Then, based on how things go with those games, we'll determine if and when I'm going to jump in and start playing Crackdown 3. Also, Resident Evil 2 has free DLCs that are coming out that I'll be checking out. And then, once we get through some of these new releases and the like, then we will determine, then we'll determine what else we're going to be doing. Will we be doing Far Cry New Dawn this month? Will I actually be playing Anthem? I don't know. I don't even want to answer those yet. I'd rather just tackle the new games that are coming out Friday and start working on them and go from there, rather than promise the world and then, look what happened. Wasn't able to play half the games because of time constraints and stuff. So, let's see. Let's see how it goes. All right, guys? So, I'm excited for this next week. I hope you are too. Fun stuff coming up. Variety of stuff, special event, new releases. Everything's going to be good. So I hope you guys are excited for that as much as I am. All right. That's really it for the schedule. And as for advertisement and plugs on this pre-stream, I'll make it short and sweet. You guys know there's many ways that you can contribute, including pledging to my Patreon at patreon.com/DarkSidePhil, including buying something from my Teespring merchandise shop, right? You know about all that. Since you're on the live stream, or most of you are, I know many of you actually watch this on YouTube, but most of you are watching this on the live stream, and you are well aware that you can either cheer or sub or tip during the stream to get contribute and to get a shout out. I will give you a shout out during the stream for any of those things, okay? In fact, I'm going to do a big shout outs segment in just a moment here where I'll be giving credit where credit is due for those who've already contributed, all right? And I do appreciate all of them. Cheering and subbing help me long term, but right now, guys, I have to appeal to you. I really need your help today. The reason being is, number one, I'm in a really bad financial position where I've got a bunch of payments due in the next couple of weeks. The next 1 week, excuse me. I was saying the next couple of weeks because that was a week ago when I started saying this. I'm getting paid by Twitch, hopefully by the 15th, and hopefully it'll be in my bank account by the 16th. I don't know if it will be, but I hope it does. Problem is, I am completely strapped for funds. All right. So that being said, I have bills to pay, and I have no money to pay them. This sucks. I don't like being in this position. I could go into the many factors that happened that made this happen, or I could just tell you I need the help. So I think I'm just going to tell you I need the help right now. So if you are going to contribute on today's streams, I have to appeal to you guys. Please tip me if you can. I understand many of you cannot. That's fine. But I'm just saying, if you are one of the people you have an option, I want to help fill out, what do I do? Please tip me if you have the control and the option to do so. That's going to help me the most in the short term. It's going to allow me to actually pay my bills. Like, for example, I know for a fact that I have credit card bills, a loan payment, and my utilities and internet are all due in the next week. And I'm not going to get paid in time to pay those things. Okay? So please consider tipping me. There's two ways you can tip me. Below the stream, there's a button that says Tips Jar you can click on. Or you can just type !tip into the stream chat. It'll bring up the link to do so. The last 2 days, tips have been slow. So it really sucked because we were actually on a roll. We were doing good tips every day, and I was like, wow, this is great. I'm actually, maybe I'm gonna make it. Maybe I'm not gonna have overdrawing on my bank account and everything will be good. And then it slowed down. Now I'm super nervous. Like, what's not gonna get paid? You know what I mean? And is it gonna affect my business? If my internet doesn't get paid, I'm screwed. So please consider tipping me. All right. And the good news is, hopefully when this Twitch payment comes through this month, everything will be fine. And then, we'll be past this really tough time. But this is the most nervous I've ever been about money right now, because I have a week to basically wait here. Well, not less than a week, 5 to 6 days. And I know there's stuff that's going to clear, and I'm very fucking nervous, okay? All right. Now let's get the shout-outs. All right, let's get the shout-outs for those who have already contributed on today's stream. Then we're going to set up. We're going to set up for the stream here. I'm going to get my party going. And we're going to jump into Apex Legends and see what happens. I don't know, we'll see how it works with people who are actually communicating, right? All right. So, by the way, I'm banning a few idiotic trolls here. Okay. Oh, I need to refresh. I need to refresh my Muxie because I know some people sometimes contribute overnight and the like, and I want to make sure that I have all the latest information before we start. Okay. All right, so Jim McLennan, 18, subscribed overnight for the 5th month. And I say the 5th month because it's not the 5th month in a row. It's just 4 or 5 months because that's how Twitch is doing it now. So thank you, Jim McLennan. Jay McLennan. Not Jim. Jay McLennan. Thank you for the 5 months of support. It is very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Okay. Now we start with people who have actually contributed on today's stream, right? So we start off with Timbo Slice, who did a 50-bit cheer. And he says, I traded in Kingdom Hearts 3 today. I was told at GameStop it's the biggest game for trade-ins right now. It's trading in so fast. The long-time value is going to tank soon because all the copies are coming back. People finish the game and are immediately trading it in. They're not even keeping it because they don't care. Are you surprised? I mean, there's a few things. Number one, Kingdom Hearts 3 is solely a single-player game. That's number one. Number two, people have been waiting 13 years for it, and a lot of people bought it, played through it as much as they could right away to get to the end, see their story resolution. Once you get there, there's really not that much else to do in the game. Like, if you actually take a look, there's a couple secret bosses, right, that you can go back and fight in like New Game Plus or Post Game. But outside of that, there's not a heck of a lot going on. And so all that being said, in reality, is there really a reason for anyone to hang on to Kingdom Hearts? There hasn't been any expansions or DLCs announced for it that are major. Like, I think they said they are going to do a harder difficulty level later on because people have complained so much the game's too easy. But outside of that, if you're someone who's been waiting a long time for the game and you played it at release and you beat it within the week, why would you keep it, right? Trade that shit in now to get as much value as you can. So that makes sense, but you're absolutely right, Tim. But when you have a game like Kingdom Hearts, everyone trades it in. It just depletes the value of the game. So you're right. Probably now, if you trade it in again, like now after a week it's been out, it probably would be way less, right? Worth way less than it would have been earlier than that. So, yeah, there you go. Makes sense to me. Shout out to Zuman Malo, who gifted a tier 1 subscription to Sinai Bolton. Congrats to Sinai Bolton. And thank you, Zuman Malo, for the ongoing support. It's 5 subs total that Zuman Malo has gifted so far on the channel. Thank you very much. Take a Glow did a 135-bit cheer. I said, why would you want a cat instead of a dog? Well, a few things. All right. Let's be honest here about cats and dogs. Number one, a cat takes a hell of a lot less work to take care of and raise than a dog. A dog, basically you need to train it. You need to spend constant amounts of time with it. You got to be sure that it's always happy. You got to take it for walks. Not to say that dogs aren't worth it. I do think that dogs are very cute animals and could be very, worthwhile living companions and friends and family members. But there's just a lot more work behind going with a dog than a cat. A cat, for the most part, can take care of itself, right? Doesn't need to go outside. It goes right to the litter box. For the most part, they're already pre-trained in their heads to use a litter box. Yes, cats can be troublemakers, but at the same time, once a cat gets used to the environment, it pretty much just does its own thing. And, cats are just like humans, too. They have very different personalities. Some cats just want to do their own thing and live alone, live in your house with you and spend time with you, but then go off and do their own thing, while others could go ahead and are love bugs. They want to snuggle all the time. They want attention. So they're all different. But in general, all right, a cat is less expensive. A cat is less work. And both Cat and I are busy working individuals, where we know that if we were to get a pet, that we would not be able to spend a significant amount of time with said pet, because I'm constantly streaming all day. Cat's at work, all the time. And with all that happening, we know that we wouldn't have a ridiculous amount of time to always be with a pet. If you get, for example, a puppy, good luck leaving the puppy alone while you're working. That would be a recipe for fucking disaster, right? So, that's what I mean. Like, so if we were to get a pet, yes, it would probably be a cat over a dog for sure. Plus, Cat has history with cats. She's owned cats before. She loves cats. Not to say she doesn't like dogs. She does actually like dogs. It was funny because about a month or two ago, we were just at a random pet store, because we go to pet stores all the time to look at pets. We love animals. We love how cute they are. And we look at them, we play with them, and etc. And someone had a Shiba Inu in the store and walked right up to Cat, and she was petting it. He was loving her. And like, oh my God, a Shiba Inu dog would be so cool. So it's not like we don't like dogs either. It's just that, in our discussions, I think that we'd be much more inclined to get a cat for the way that it takes to raise it or whatever. You know what I mean? Okay. Goldry Blusco did a 100-bit cheer. Thank you very much, Goldry Blusco, for the cheer. Elphisaurus, or is it Eliphisaurus? I think it's Elphisaurus. Did a 50-bit cheer, said, would you ever go back to the risque style commentary you used to do if allowed to get more viewers and contributions? No. Because here's the truth, guys. I've talked about this before. I'll say it again. When I started on YouTube, the whole thing was a joke. It wasn't serious at all. It wasn't like, oh, this is something that I'm doing to get attention. This is something that I'm doing that eventually I could turn it into a job or a profession. It was a joke. Like, I had seen other people, like the Angry Video Game Nerd and the Nostalgia Critic on the internet, with limited budgets and, limited amount of professional level training, come out and do video series that became virally popular. And I said, man, I wish I could do that too, because I know people tell me all the time when I play games that it's hilarious. They love my commentary. They love the things I say and do when I play video games. I'd like to share that with the world, but I don't know if it would ever be anything. So I just started dicking around with a digital camera. I wasn't serious about doing it. So I would say, on purpose, the most absolutely ridiculous stuff, just to see how people would react and to get attention. I would say racially charged stuff, even though, honestly, I'm not racist. I already said that. I was an equal opportunity jokester. I would basically joke about every race and every ethnicity. It wasn't that I was honing in on one and being racist about it. I would regularly joke about my own Italian heritage. But not only that, other stuff like, let's be honest, a lot of the stuff that I used to do back in the day was a lot more perverse or even sexually oriented. I'll admit that. 10 years ago, YouTube was a very different climate, and people were looking for that kind of over-the-top commentary, okay? In this day, things are a lot different. The culture has changed in general on planet Earth. You got a lot more people who get offended by a lot of stuff a lot more easily. And in reality, I'm doing this over 10 years now. I have matured a lot. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, where I felt that I constantly had to hit the lowbrow comedy, something sexual, something perverse, something, risque and racial and over the top. That stuff had its place over 10 years ago, and I don't feel that it would even fit into the realm of what I do today on a daily basis. People change over time, people mature over time. I'm certainly in that grouping. I definitely would not say half the stuff that I said back in the day today. In fact, the last time I did that retrospective event in September, I was listening to my own stuff that I was saying. I was like, oh my God, I don't even remember saying that. And I certainly would not even bring anything up like that in the modern era, right? So, no, Olivisaurus, the difference here is things change for the better over time. And for me, I actually feel that I have matured and grown and changed for the better in the last 10 years. I wouldn't want to go back just for the sake of making a quick buck. You know what I mean? If a new website were to open up that was the Wild West again and there's no censorship of anything, you can do whatever you want, I still wouldn't go back to that style of stuff. I like what I do today. I feel that this is the best I've been, and I love this stuff, okay? So there you go. All right. TVSCD has subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much. Also, Savage Beast 7097 has subscribed for 22 months. Thank you, Savage Beast, for 22 months of support. That is amazing. Davey Hold Me Closer cheered and said, what is the most amount of snow you've ever seen in your lifetime? The most I've ever seen was in Connecticut, and I would say it was about 8 years ago. I'm trying exactly to remember when it was, but I remember one year in Connecticut, we got over a foot of snow. Then within the same week, got another foot of snow, and then another foot of snow. It was so bad that snowplows had nowhere to push the snow anymore. The snow had accumulated so high, they were actually starting to try to transport snow and dump it in rivers because there was nowhere to put the shit. So, no one could move. No one could drive. No one could do anything for like 2 weeks because the snow was packed so goddamn high. So it was really bad. But luckily out here, even though we're getting snow now, it's nowhere near those levels. And that's a good thing. So, let's see here. Timbo Slice has cheered and said, Subnautica has been in early access on PC and Xbox since 2015. It's okay. It's fun for a while, but for me, not a long-lasting fun. I had it for 3 years. Well, I guess we'll see. How it goes. It is in full release now on consoles, which is why someone decided to donate it to me. We'll give it a shot tonight, and we'll see what it is, okay? I've not touched it. I've not been exposed to it at all. I am a pure outsider. I know nothing about what to expect. So this should be interesting, at least for the 2 hours tonight that I'll be exploring the game and seeing what the hell it is to see, how I react to it. So I guess we'll see, right? All right. Mr. Bravavera cheered. He says, unless Phil's playing the first Subnautica, that's a full release title. There's where I got confused because I think people were asking Phil to play the Subnautica Below Zero, which is an early access, early release. I'd be totally for watching the first Subnautica. Yeah, it is definitely the first Subnautica. It's the one that was released on PlayStation 4 last month. That's the one I'm playing. It was like $30, and a fan donated, the funds to get it. So I got it, and we're going to check it out tonight, okay? LolNet Platinums has subscribed to Tier 3 for the second month in a row. Thank you very much, LolNet Platinums, for the Tier 3 support. The Tier 3 sub is very, very generous because it gives me a hell of a lot more funds for that sub. It helps me out more. So thank you very much to LolNet Platinums for the Tier 3 subscription. I appreciate that. Rob Warren did a $15 tip. Thank you very much, Rob. He says, I'm feeling emotional for a number of reasons tonight. Glad of the company. Guys, on a lighter note, Monsters University was cool. Yeah, I liked Monsters University a lot when I saw it. So thank you, Rob Warren. Generous tip, $15. That gets the tipping started today. So let's go ahead and update this. Top tip is Rob. And let's get the tips goal updated. Our first tip of the day. Thank you, thank you. The Alopecia Vertex. What the hell? Tip me $1 and says, hey, Phil, for 2019, I want to grow my hair out. I have an issue with my hair because it gets nappy and frizzy as it gets longer. Do you have any tips with that? No, I don't. I have no idea. I have the quintessential, stereotypical, greasy Italian hair. I really do. My hair gets greasy when it gets, not washed. If I wash it every day, it doesn't get greasy. But, if I don't wash it every single day, it tends to get greasy. You know, people actually ask me, what do I use in my hair? Nothing. Water. I use water and a hairbrush and brush it back, and that shit just goes because it gets greasy as shit. So I don't have any experience with your type of hair, and I would not be able to give you any kind of recommendations. But I appreciate the tip. I do. Okay. Timbo Slice Dude again. He said, any plans for Thursday? I work that night and have plans for another night. The only plans I have, you know, Kat and I are going to have our normal day out where we have to do all of our errands and stuff, which sucks because running errands on Valentine's Day, but it's the only day of the week we have off to do it. We're just going to go to dinner to this little Italian restaurant that we've been to once before and really enjoyed. So we're just going to do that again, and that's pretty much it. You know, we don't have money really to do anything. It'd be nice if we had a ton of money and we can go do something crazy or romantic, but really it's just going to be a nice intimate dinner that we're going to have at this Italian place together. And that's it. And, you know, it's hilarious. How's it going to pay for that? It's called a credit card. We don't have money. So it's called a credit card. That's what it's going to be paid for. Yeah. So those are our plans, pretty much. Okay. Shout out to the 500K who tipped me $4.50. Says no one has ever become poor by giving. Well, thank you very much for that, the 400K. Because of these tips, we're actually now up to $20 in tips, so I will update that right now. There we go. Alrighty. Shout out to... Oh, I won't even give a shout out because it's a jerk. It's a jerk. Let me see if the jerk's still in here. Oh, they are. Now they're banned for being a jerk. So there you go. Mr. Popovich here, he said, should name the cat Cat. Then you can have two cats in the house, and using the name Cat would be confusing. That would be really stupid. I don't think I would be doing that. That would be really stupid. Take a glow cheer. He said, shout out to the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. There you go. Dinkelber. To me, $1. Thank you very much, Dinkelber, for the $1 tip. That gets us up to $21 in tips now. All right. Thanks for that. A Woomy bot cheered and said, Phil, the Woomy tax is too high. I didn't notice it earlier, but yeah, how have you been? You know, I've been good. I've been up and down. You know, when it comes to streaming and content, I think I've really had a lot of fun. The past 6 months have been amazing. Like, doing really fun stuff, great new releases, downtime stuff now that's really entertaining. Viewership in general has been up the past couple of months, which is great. You know, but then you got to pair that with the reality of the fact that I've been sick. You know, I got really sick around Christmas, and I really haven't been able to shake it. Like, it's still not completely out of my system. I'm still gunked up. It sucks because I know I have weak lungs. My throat constantly gets weakened because I'm talking all day long. So it's hard for me to fully recover from illness. It takes me a long time because I'm constantly here stressing the things that need to be relaxed in order to actually fully heal. You know what I mean? So it sucks. And, you know, I'm doing my best to, you know, sound good and everything. But sometimes it's tough. Some days I wake up, I'm completely congested and I feel like shit. Other days, not so much. So, financially, things suck. Right now, things are incredibly tough, incredibly tight. Not only do I have to get through this next week, right? Then I have to figure out how am I going to pay my taxes in April? What can I pay? What can't I pay? Because I'm pretty much, unless there's a miracle, like I'm thinking of doing 1 to 2 special events as like, being very honest here, fundraising events in order to try to raise funds for taxes. All right. Because if I can't pay my taxes, that's pretty much it. Like, I know there's no way that I can keep this house, and I'm going to have to sell it, which I don't want to do. I love this house. I've lived here for a while now. My quality of my work is where it is because I have my own office and this equipment and everything, and all this could be lost because of bullshit. Because of all the bullshit that's happened to me in the past couple of years, all this could go away. And it's a horrible thing to think about, and I try not to think about it because I don't want it to negatively affect my streams. But it pretty much is, you know, a looming reality at this point. You know, that I know right now, I don't even have half of what I'm going to need for taxes. I know that. And it sucks. Like, I know that unless there's a miracle. Like, people really come out and are super generous. We get another Emerald 7 situation, someone who comes in and gives a ton of stuff. I know that I'm not going to be able to pay my taxes in April. And it really is something shitty. You know what I mean? That this is the situation I'm in. So, we'll see what happens, you know. Again, there may be opportunity for me to do a couple special events and things between then and now. You know, I think it's April 15th is when they expect me to pay all the back taxes for the year. And if I don't pay them, then they're considered overdue. And that's when they either will put a lien on my house or try to force me into a payment plan that I know I can't even afford, you know. So, you know, in reality, it's not a good situation. But that's kind of my life. It's a dichotomy. I love my life with Kat. We love everything we have here together. We just want to keep it. You know, the year that Kat's lived with me has been amazingly positive, and we have so much fun together, and, you know, cannot wait to spend the rest of our lives together, quite frankly. Streaming's been great. The streaming is positive and fun. The gameplay is amazing. The attendance is up. Everything's good. And then you pair it with all the shitty behind-the-scenes stuff of real life. So, all right. Anyway, let's continue on. Baby Man Gaming. Cheers, I woke up with a big-ass boner. Well, good for you. A lot of guys have that issue. Not that it's an issue. But thanks for sharing. You know, very important that we all know. Very important that we know about your boner. So thank you for sharing, you know. The more you know. What the fuck? Okay, then. Okay. Let's continue. Let's continue. Yes, let's continue. Why am I whispering? I don't know. Okay. Take a Glow has cheers as Titanfall 3 was canceled for Apex Legends. I'd rather have the Titans and wall running back. And you know, I think some people are of that mentality. They're sad to hear that Titanfall 3 is done and it's not going to happen. At the same time, if you guys remember, Titanfall 2 was a humongous failure for the amount of time and money that was put into it by both Respawn and EA. The game did not sell well. If you remember, it was sandwiched between the releases of Call of Duty and Battlefield that year. And I even said that year, when I played the game, I said, you know, the game's not bad. It's actually quite fun, but who's going to play this when you've got the other two big names in first-person shooter gaming sandwiched around this game? This game will be lost, and absolutely that's what happened. Titanfall 2 failed sales-wise miserably. Did not do anywhere near the sales expectations that they had wanted. So I'm not surprised to hear that they decided, you know, while developing Titanfall 3, let's do something completely different. Okay? Chinese Communist Party. Subscribe to the channel for the 6th month now. And says, any chance of Battlefield 5 multiplayer? No. Battlefield 5 also was a huge failure, if you're not aware. Sales-wise, one of the worst performing Battlefield games ever. Most people to this day still say it's not very good, even though it released, you know, last year. Most people are saying it's, you know, it was a skip. Thank God I didn't spend money on it. That would have been a dud, I think. So I'm glad that I didn't play it. And no, I'm not going to be playing it. Okay. Let's see. A Woomybot cheered. Says, good to hear that you're doing great besides the taxes. How's Kat? Is she still in the Overwatch? Shebas and Octolings. Well, I don't think she was ever into Octolings. She hasn't played Overwatch in a while, actually. She's been doing other stuff. Recently, the things she's played. First, she played the Assassin's Creed Odyssey DLC, the first one. She never played the second one yet, but she played the first one. Then she got into Persona 4 because she wanted to play on my PS Vita. And I said, yeah, really the only good game on that thing is Persona 4 Golden. So she actually got it and played through it. Took her weeks to beat it, but finally, you know, got through it and finished it and absolutely loved it. And, you know, if there's ever another mobile version of Persona 5, she's considering playing it because she never finished it. She played a little bit of that game and never actually got through it. Um, Outside of that, really not so much. She's been playing some mobile games and stuff, so it hasn't been too much. No, she hasn't played Overwatch in a long time actually. So, then we watched it again and said that her career sent her to China. It's ghetto as fuck. Wow. Did you miss me? Listen, I miss any regulars who they come in, they hang out with us, we have a good time, and then they kind of disappear for a while. It's a shame because it happens. And I've said this before. That's the cycle of almost like streaming life. And the bottom line is that people have different lifestyles. People have different things that happen to them, right? And there's been people who've come in and been my biggest fans and then gone away for a while and come back. There's people who've never come back. It kind of sucks. It's kind of like a revolving door. But, I always tell people, your life is the most important thing. Because there used to be people who, when I used to make videos on YouTube, literally used to come to me and say this: Phil, you put out too much content. You play too many games. There's no way we could watch all the videos and maintain a normal life. You put out 8 to 10 hours of content a day. How could we possibly watch it all? To which I would respond, don't. Pick and choose what you want to watch, because I understand your life is more important than you being a fan of me. You know what I mean? Always look out for yourself first. I'm a content creator who's been here over 10 years, and it's through the mass support of the viewers and fans that I'm still here. Make no bones about it. If it weren't for you guys, helping me out over the years through all the adversity I've been through, I would not be here, okay? But at the same time, I understand that there's people who move on, people who grow up and have different responsibilities and things in their lives. Hell, I was the biggest fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd and the Nostalgia Critic, before I did YouTube. Once I started doing YouTube, I didn't have time to watch that stuff anymore. In fact, I didn't want to watch that stuff anymore because I felt that already I'm putting out gaming content for the internet. I don't want to go watch similar content now in my free time. My free time became doing other different things so that I wouldn't become inundated 100% with content creation on the internet. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like, all that being said, it's good to have you back. Absolutely. But I understand that there's people who have things in life that happen, and they might leave, they might come back, and that's cool. It's always cool to hear someone who's been away for a while come back and say, "Wow, you're still here. Your content's great." I love that. So thank you. Billy Ray Cyrus tipped me $1 and is asking about the health issues of masturbating. You're at the wrong place. I don't know anything about this, and you're probably just trying to get me to say something stupid. So I'm just gonna ignore it. But thank you for the $1 tip regardless. We're up to $22 in tips today. Stupid question gets a stupid answer. Take a glow cheer and ask, will I play Ace Combat 7 during a less busy gaming month? It's really popular. Probably not. I don't really see the reason to. It wasn't a game that was like my forte. It wasn't a game that a ton of people were screaming for. I decided in January I would skip it, and quite frankly, I don't think I really missed out on anything. Not to say that it's not a good game. I harken back to last year. Monster Hunter World was the biggest game in early 2018, and I skipped it because I didn't think it was my cup of tea, and a lot of people gave me shit for it, but to this day, I don't really think I missed much, I kind of feel the same way about Ace Combat 7. Joker's Jack did a 200-bit cheer asking something about, I'm not even going to say it. It sounds like a detractor meme. So I say, thank you for the 200-bit cheer. If you want to come back and speak English and actually have something legit to say, I'll definitely welcome you back. But I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, so I'm just going to ignore it. But you will get credit, since you are the top cheerer of the day. There you go. Alrighty then. Alright guys, so the last thing I want to do, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to the top cheerers of the week, because today's the last opportunity to do so, because they will reset overnight. It's actually Sunday nights that the cheering leaderboard will reset. Okay? So I want to give credit where credit is due. Let's go ahead and give some credit. So, the top 10 cheerers of the week. In 10th place, we have SSJ887. In 9th place, Crystal Laser. In 8th place, Roy Kingtree. Then we've got a tie for 6th between Swaggins and Mr. Papavera. In 5th place, we've got Infinite 55. In 4th place, Freddie Lamar Bosley. In 3rd place, Goldry Bluzco. In 2nd place, Zacho Carries. And sitting in 1st place for the week, Judicious Echoes. So thank all of you for your support this week. You have the rest of today if you want to try to get in there, and get in the top 10 onto the leaderboard. After that, tonight it will reset and we'll start a fresh week tomorrow, okay? All right, so it looks like the final cheer of the pre-stream is from Babyman Gaming, who asks, are you watching the Grammys? Hell no. If I don't like any modern music, I'm certainly not going to like the Modern Music Award show. I'm not watching the Grammys. Okay, then. All right, guys. So that is it for the pre-stream. I think we've covered everything now sufficiently. Oh, hold on. June Wind has subscribed for 17 months and says, have you thought of doing more polls on Patreon for people who give $1 or more? It motivates people to sub and helps weed out the trolls. Honestly, haven't really been thinking too much about Patreon lately. Right now, my focus is just getting past the financial problems I'm having and paying bills in the short term. And I know that sucks because some people, they want motivation to pledge to Patreon, right? At this point, I'm kind of tapped out. Like, the events and things that I'm doing are maxing out my time as it is. What I'm debating doing next is an event where it'll be the viewer's choice, where patrons will choose, in general, the game selections, but the viewers in general will vote on said selections. So let's say the patrons will pick 20 games, and then the viewers will vote on those 20 games to determine the game that out of that will become a new playthrough or something. That's kind of what I'm dabbling with, but quite frankly, I've been so just busy with everything else, I just haven't had time to really think about it. With the daily streams and everything, I'm so busy with all that, I don't have time to brainstorm new events and even figure out where the hell they would fit into my schedule. I mean, look at this retrospective event this week was delayed for 3 weeks just to fit it into the schedule. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. But right now, no, I don't have any big plans or anything like that. Shout out to Super Blind Man, who did a 300-bit cheer. He says, cheer powerbomb through a flaming table. Keep it up, DSP. Staying positive is difficult, I know, but do your best. Thank you very much, Super Blind Man. You were the top cheerer until just moments after you actually cheered. Just moments after you cheered. Owumibot did a 350-bit cheer to become the cheerleader for today. So, thank you, Super Blind Man, for the cheer. I appreciate that. But, of course, thank you to Owumibot, who is now the cheerleader for today. Let's go ahead and get you up on the leaderboard here. Thanks very much. Romy Rowe cheered and said, I live in Connecticut. Do you have any restaurants here that you missed since you moved to Washington? There's a few. There's a few restaurants. My classic restaurant where I used to always get pizza when I lived in Bridgeport, Connecticut was Vinny's Pizza. There's also a really good Italian restaurant there called Massimo's that I like their, not particularly their pizza, but all their other Italian fare food. There's actually a really good brick oven pizza place. I believe it's either in Milford or Orange, Connecticut, and I can't remember the name of it right now. But I know it's really good. I've been there a few times, and I miss that place. Seafood. I miss a lot of the seafood that was in Connecticut. There's a really good places. Like, there's a place down on the beach where it's called Jimmy's. You can get amazing fried clam strips or fried shrimp. Oh, man, it's like mouth-watering gourmet food. There used to be another restaurant that had these really good seafood dishes. I can't even remember the name of it. But, basically places that I used to frequent that, now I haven't been to in over 5 years. And I do miss them. So there you go. Super Blind Man now did a 400-bit cheer and said, I am Super Blind Man, not to be defeated so easily. So Super Blind Man says, no mas to Woomy as he overtakes her in the cheering wars and becomes the top cheerer for the day. Thank you, Super Blind Man, for that. I appreciate that. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for everything so far on the pre-stream. Much appreciated. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a break. Why? Because I need to set up the party. I'm going to get Kekken and Brian into a party here. We're going to get the voice chat set up. We're going to jump into Apex Legends. And we're going to get all this stuff going. So I would ask, please give us about 5 to 10 minutes tops to get the party set up and to jump into the game and to get started. Okay? So thanks very much. And I'll be right back with team-based voice communication Apex Legends. And we'll see how it goes. Fair enough? All right, guys. I'll be back in just a few. Thanks, and see ya in a few.